I'm joined now on set by Diptyque Laurent, who's going to take us through the French papers this morning. And you're starting with French actress Catherine Deneuve, who's responded to last week's controversial op-ed about the Me Too movement.
Well, that op-ed was published in Le Monde newspaper, of course, Haxi, and it went viral really for the wrong reasons, because many people saw it as an apology for sexual abuse. They also saw it as a repudiation of the Me Too movement. Catherine Deneuve, who was one of those signatories, has broken her silence and speaks to Libération this Monday, saying on their front page, "I am a, quote, free woman, and I always will be," she says.
And she's offered something of a mea culpa, hasn't she?
Yes, exactly. A mea culpa, sort of, I guess, because she does apologize for offending victims of sexual abuse who may have been offended by the op-ed. At the same time, she still defends her criticism of the Me Too movement, warning that it could lead to censorship of art, of films, of music, if the author is accused of sexual assault or sexual harassment. I quote, she says, "Will we designate Leonardo da Vinci as a pedophile and destroy his artwork? So should we start burning the CDs of Phil Spector?" she asks. She also defends herself from criticism that she's not a feminist, reminding readers that she was one of those who supported a woman's right to abortion, adding that the only way to combat sexual harassment is by educating young male generations.
And sexual assault isn't just something that affects young women, it affects young men too. And this is something we're increasingly aware of, as a piece in Libération points out today.
Well, we're hearing a lot more stories of male abuse indeed, Haxi. Well, one French MP called Bruno Bilde, who's from the far-right National Front Party, he's been accused of sexual assault against several ex-parliamentary assistants. This is what Libé is recounting in this article. One man, Alexandre, he got the ball rolling really by recounting his own experience of sexual harassment allegedly by Bilde this weeks after the Weinstein affair broke last year. Then came another man, Michael, who recounts that Bilde allegedly told him that he has a, quote, nice rear, and he told him this on several occasions. This man, Michael, says he said nothing for fear of losing his job. So, I quote, "You keep your head down, you turn a blind eye, and you pretend it never happened." And this really seems to be the way that people have been dealing with this for decades now, not just in France, but all over the world. For information, 2 other men have also come forward, but Bilde's representatives have vehemently denied the allegations.
There's, of course, Mario Testino facing similar allegations at the moment too. The other big story in the French papers today is, of course, those weekend protests in Tunisia, 7 years after the Arab Spring uprising.
That's right. Our reporters from France 24, well, they've been on the ground in Tunisia, in particular in the capital, Tunis. They described a peaceful and high security atmosphere, pardon me, surrounding those weekend protests, with about 1,000 people converging in Tunis. But this could not hide the, quote, social discontent that has severed Tunisia since the beginning of the year. It's also making the front page of L'Humanité, the communist paper, which describes a return of the, quote, social flame. Indeed, the wave of protests and unrest that led to the Arab Spring 7 years ago began here in Tunisia, so it is extremely symbolic. Protesters condemn an increasingly high cost of living and the government's austerity policies. The government has slammed the unrest, saying it was nothing but, quote, anarchist leftist parties looking to spread chaos.
A specialist in Arab politics has told Libération that this discontent we've been seeing the last week was predictable.
Well, we might have seen it coming. That's at least the idea from Gilbert Achkar, who's a Lebanese political analyst. He's been interviewed by Libération. He tells the paper that the protest was really predictable because Tunisia still has all the elements of the 2011 revolution, especially youth unemployment, which is even worse now. He suggests that we may even be in the throes of a second wave of protests in the region, noting similar unrest in Morocco, Sudan, and most recently Iran, of course.
And finally, from you, Dipti, the next story is one for those who struggle with the Monday morning blues.
I'm not sure if you do, but I certainly do from time to time struggle with the Monday blues. Well, they're often hard to deal with. After a relaxing weekend, it's hard having to wake up, haul yourself through traffic or public transport to get to work or class or wherever you're going. Well, the Huffington Post warns us that this Monday, January the 15th, is the most depressing Monday of the year, and it's actually scientifically recorded, at least according to a psychologist. And it really does apply to those in the Northern Hemisphere because it reunites all the elements that are the worst of winter. You've got grey, gloomy, cold weather, mounting debts from Christmas, a post-holiday funk, and a general lack of motivation. So if you're feeling lethargic today, at least you have an excuse for it.
That and the 3 a.m. alarm, Dipti. Thank you very much, Dipti, with a look at the French papers today. And that's all we have time for right now, but do stay tuned. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes with all the top world news headlines. Also coming up in today's Focus Report. In Mexico, robberies of pharmacies and hospitals are on the rise, with the country's black market awash with stolen medicine. That's coming up.